What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on all the villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, so far from the worst villain to the best villain. So seeing as we have another MCU movie coming in just under 2 weeks, being Captain Marvel, I want to rank all the MCU villains from the worst to the best in my opinion, not including any villain that will show up in Captain Marvel because we haven't seen it yet. And I'm not talking about the villains from like X-Men or Fantastic Four, etc. Just MCU movies exclusively. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, pop culture based videos that we do on this channel on the daily. We are currently doing 2 giveaways on the channel. One for tickets to go and see Captain Marvel movie, which is coming out soon. All you have to do is follow me on Instagram at Warstu and either DM me to let me know that you're entering or comment on one of my latest images. And the other giveaway we are doing is more for March, but I'm going to give away a Hasbro Infinity Gauntlet towards the end of March. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel and let me know down below who is your favorite hero or villain. And something we do on this channel, I'm not sure if other channels do it, is generally when I send prizes out, I ask someone the winner to send a picture back so he can put it on the community tab and on the Twitter and everything, just so you guys are transparent and you see that the winners get them. Usually the winner is more than happy to do that. So let's get into the video. So guys, drop down below who is your favorite villain from best to worst. It will be top 20, not including every single minor villain within the MCU. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to include Loki and Killmonger as villains, although they technically are anti-heroes in my opinion. So let's get into this video. So this is just my worst to best villains. There's no actual quantifiable, measurable way to say who is the best or worst villain. It's just in my opinion. So let's talk down below. So in at 20th is Malekith from Thor Dark World. I think literally everyone watching this video will agree with me that the character is pretty damn bad. There's not a lot about him. He's the ruler of the Dark Elves. It's really hard to remember him because a lot of people associate Dark World with being such an awful movie, and Malekith was pretty awful. Just kept talking about the ether and that was it. I mean, I had to rewatch some of these movies to kind of get a general gist of the actual villains, because Dark World is a pretty bad movie and not many people actually remember that movie. So in at number 19 again is a very interesting character. So number 19, Laufey, who is just as bad as the previous villain, but thankfully without him there would be no Loki. So he is, or technically was, the king of the Frost Giants, the biological father of Loki. He can control ice, but still he was no match for the god of mischief, Loki, his son, and he's a quite forgettable and boring character, so to speak. So in at number 18, from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and one of the worst villains ever. As soon as these came on the screen, you kind of got the feeling they were going to be boring. So the Sovereigns are a highly advanced, genetically engineered galactic race, but the movie didn't really explain anything about their backstory. I presume they are all literally the same because they all look like the same, but I didn't really care for any of them, to be honest, at all. Did you? I definitely didn't. So in at number 17, Whiplash from Iron Man 2. Again, this character is pretty boring, but interesting in the sense that the actor did a pretty good job. There was a bit of a backstory with the Starks, but apart from that, it was a massive letdown for me. To be honest, I don't really think any of the Iron Man movies have particularly had any decent villains. If I'm honest, if you compare them to the newer movies, the Iron Man franchise hasn't really had any decent villains, so to speak. So in at number 16, Cass Elisus from the Doctor Strange movie, which I felt like he was just a general wizard who was beat pretty easily, and he was there just for the sake of having another villain there. Obviously, he is a sorcerer, a former member of the Master of the mystic art, who became disillusioned with the Ancient One when he felt his mentor was not allowing other dimensions to come to Earth. So 15, Yellow Jacket was just fine from the Ant-Man movie, but I just didn't really like that one. So in at number 14, Ego the Living Planet from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Star-Lord's biological father. Very strong-ass character within the MCU, but a very boring and very annoying. He was basically there just to explain the backstory of Star-Lord in ways. Ego was a celestial, a ruthless entity possessing a god complex, but served a massive purpose throughout this movie, realistically to give Star-Lord more of a grounding in the whole MCU so the audience could realistically understand who Star-Lord really was. So Ronan, the Accuser from Guardians of the Galaxy, was a very interesting character in at number 13 at times, but wasn't really a good villain. But we did get our first look at Thanos in Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's worth noting that Ronan, the Accuser, is going to be in the Captain Marvel movie that is coming up pretty soon. So Ronan, also known as Ronan the Accuser, was a radical member of the Kree race who was disguised by a peace treaty made between the Kree Empire and Xandar. Ronan forged an alliance with the Mad Titan Thanos, offering the orb in exchange for destruction of Xandar. After a long search, Ronan required the orb, but having seen its true destructive capabilities, decided against giving it to Thanos and chose to take the orb power for himself, using his newfound power to attack Xandar, but ultimately was defeated and killed by a combined power of the Guardians of the Galaxy, or a dance-off. I mean, that scene is pretty funny. So he is a memorable character. And like I said, he will be in the up-and-coming Captain Marvel movie that comes out in just over 2 weeks. So in at number 12, Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Again, pretty interesting character who can phase through things, which was pretty cool. That's how she shifted around in Ant-Man and the Wasp movie pretty fast. Very interesting villain, but like the other ones, she was just there for a filler role. She wasn't really even a villain. She was just trying to stop herself from dying, and obviously with the help of Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne and Ant-Man at the end of the movie, she didn't die. So, well, we're led to believe that she didn't die, as far as we can believe. So in at number 11, Surtur, who was a badass character in Thor 3. We didn't really get to see much of Surtur. I would have liked to see more, but there was a pretty funny, epic scene at the start, and essentially he kind of helped the destruction of Hela and the destruction of Ragnarok. So in at number 10, Dormammu from Doctor Strange. We first seen Dormammu, and now we have the famous line, "I've come to bargain." And we got to see the time loop when Doctor Strange was killed again and again and again until he gave up and kind of promised to forge a trust that he wouldn't attack Earth. And we're also introduced to the Dark Dimension, which we could very well see one day again in Avengers Endgame. He is one of the characters who is rumoredly meant to be in that movie. He is the Cosmic Conqueror, the destroyer of worlds, a being of infinite power and endless hunger, on a quest to invade every universe and bring all worlds into his Dark Dimension. He hungers for Earth the most, hence why he kept trying to attack Earth, I guess you could say, but not to be confused with the giant galactic Galactus, as we haven't had the Galactus character yet in the Marvel Cinematic movies. So in at number 9, Red Skull. Now Red Skull isn't a very good villain, but he was pretty cool. I mean, we first seen him in the first Avenger. He did reappear in Avengers Infinity War. He is now a reformed, I guess you could say, soldier of the Soul Stone in Volmir. So as far as we can understand, he is stuck there, cannot leave. Pretty interesting character, but again, pretty boring. So in at number 8, these are where the characters and the villains start to get pretty cool. The Winter Soldier. Obviously, the Winter Soldier is a savage, essentially. Such a cool character. He's reformed now called the White Wolf, obviously due to the Black Panther movie. But very interesting, and obviously he was dusted, I guess you could say, in the movie. So it is very interesting how he is, again, a reformed character who was a villain-ish, but isn't a villain anymore, so to speak. So, in at number 7, the Vulture. Now, I really like the Vulture, because the Vulture isn't like a normal villain. He is a family man who knows the identity of Spider-Man, but never exposed who Spider-Man really is, being Peter Parker. And Michael Keaton is such a cool character, kills the role. So in Spider-Man Homecoming, he recruits his co-worker and equipped himself with a flying suit created from the T'Chari technology he had stolen. He took on the identity of Vulture and spent the next 4 years stealing advanced weaponry to steal on the black market. And that's essentially how Spider-Man found out who he was. And it's interesting how apparently Michael Keaton is confirmed to be returning for Spider-Man Far From Home in a minor role, which is pretty interesting. Is he going to expose who Spider-Man really is? I really hope he doesn't, because that wouldn't be very cool, would it? So in at number 6 is Ultron from Age of Ultron. We see Ultron. No one is really like him in the MCU, as realistically he is just artificial intelligence, so he isn't generic at all. So Ultron was artificial intelligence, peacekeeping program created by Tony Stark from the decrypted code derived from the Mind Stone, encased within Loki's own scepter, retooled by himself with the help of Bruce Banner, with the intent to protect Earth from any and all domestic and extraterrestrial threats coming within the future, possessing multiple host body under his control, as well as a variety of Stark's own personalities. Ultron, however, had soon deemed humanity itself as the greatest threat to peace on Earth and attempted to create his technology singularity by committing genocide against them, leaving only his own doubles left in his wake. But Ultron apparently was in the Avengers Endgame trailer. We did a video about it, but I don't really think he's in there. But I think it is technically one of Tony Stark's greatest creations. So I do believe that Ultron could reappear if they are going to go back to the Age of Ultron time when he was created. Then technically he would have to appear. So in at number 5 is Eric Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan, who absolutely smashed this role. Black Panther. This villain is like Loki, but nowhere near as good as Loki. So he isn't a villain. He just wants what's rightfully his. He rightfully wants to be the king, because technically he could have been. So pretty awesome. And there are rumors that Michael B. Jordan will be returning for Black Panther 2. Not really sure if this is going to be like an astral plane sort of scene, or if he is going to be returning properly. So in at number 4 is Hela. Hela is Odin's secret, so to speak, secret daughter, the older sister of Thor. She's so OP, more powerful than Thor. Thor destroyed her. No, he didn't. Hela destroyed the hammer. That scene was heartbreaking. She nailed the role. Played by Kate Blanchett, she smashed the role. I really hope we get to see her again, because Hela was fantastic. Very interesting backstory. Not generic. She changed the game in the MCU, because Odin was a bit shady. None of us knew any of this, did we? And rumoredly, she will be returning in Avengers Endgame, although nothing is confirmed. So in at number 3, Thanos. Yes, Thanos might be the most invincible, powerful character, and we did get our first glimpse of him in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 movie, although they changed his look dramatically before Infinity War. We recently got to see him in Infinity War. Josh Brolin absolutely smashed the role. We've known about Thanos since the attack of New York, Guardians of the Galaxy 1. He was coming. Fine, I'll do it myself. Although everyone's going to say Thanos is the greatest MCU villain ever, he isn't mine. He's number 3 for me. Thanos is pretty cool. My opinion might change after Endgame, but currently Thanos is number 3 for me. So my number 2, which is technically my number 1, because I classed Loki as 2 characters, because he keeps jumping between roles. Technically Loki is number 1 and 2 for me. So Tom Hiddleston, great epicness, such a cool character. We've grown up with Loki through the Loki movies. which essentially like the Thor movies, which are kind of Loki movies at the same time. He's had a lot of screen time, more screen time than any of these other villains, so much that Loki is technically getting a DC streaming service TV show, but I don't really think that Tom Hiddleston is going to be playing that. But Loki has been a boy, he's been a girl, he's been lots of things before. Loki, the god of mischief, the king of the frost giants. He's just amazing. He isn't the strongest, but he is the smartest. I feel like if he is dead in Avengers Infinity War, it makes absolutely no sense because he's still got so many manipulation tricks that we haven't seen. And that is why I put Loki at my number 2 and number 1, because no one comes close to Loki. So guys, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Like I say, there's no actual factual way to say who is the greatest villain ever in the MCU, because this is subjective and opinionated based. So guys, if you would want to get involved down below, I want to talk with you guys about who is the greatest villains, who is the worst villains. For sure, Loki and Thanos are great villains. Eric Killmonger, Hela are great. I know a lot of people don't like Ultron, but I did put Ultron quite high in my list. But no one is as bad as characters like Whiplash and Malekith and people like that. They're pretty bad. Obviously, there is more than 20, but I didn't want to go like into side characters and stuff. I just did main characters. So guys, let me know what you thought of my breakdown of my top 20 worst to best MCU villains. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's have a conversation down below. And like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment, because there's an issue at the moment that YouTube is not pushing videos out, even if you are subscribing, even if you do have them post notifications turned on. If you do want to enter the competitions that we said at the start of the giveaway, just follow me on Instagram at Warstu, then send me a message to let me know you're entering. And also, if you do want to win a competition to win the Avengers Infinity Gauntlet, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel. Let me know down below who is your favorite superhero, who is your favorite villain. But seeing as that's the topic of the video, that most people should be commenting who is their favorite villain, I'm predicting that a lot of people will be picking either Loki or Thanos, most likely, or Thanos. It depends how you say it. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. That would be awesome, guys, and I will catch you in that next video very soon. Catch you later.